unrest and chaos of unimaginable kind in a nutshell. Earthly time of need that shakes every thought. Only earthly misery opens the hearts. Call to vineyard workers. You still have to do much work for me and my kingdom, because the time still lies ahead of you where your work only really starts, because the earthly trouble will be very great, and then also men are more open for my word that you are to bring to them. But before still much detailed work has to be done, which consists of the fact that still workers to be called to service for my vineyard, that first they themselves will be taught to then also be successfully active can be my servants. Because this service must be voluntary for me will be achieved, and that is why I address men through you, so that those who recognize the voice of the Father, will voluntarily offer to help, and then I can also give them a light and they make them fit for the task ahead. The world is still emerging, and therefore there are few who look into the spiritual kingdom. But the earthly world will suffer a bad blow, and likewise men who pay homage to it. Many things will change in a short time, and some men will still think about this change, and these will also have an open ear for the speeches of my servants, because they will find explanation for otherwise incomprehensible events. And in that time, they're the actual mission for which I had given you, and I am still training them, because then you'll be able to give your fellow man and the right advice, which will be of use to them for the benefits of the soul. Men are blind in spirit because they only think of their own well-being and have no eye for the misery of the fellow human being. But when the general misery starts through my will, through a natural event of most severe consequences, then also some men will let themselves be softened and be willing to help. And to them I will also give the possibility to be able to help. And these will also be a clear light which will shine all the brighter the more they are lovingly engaged, and much new land will be developed, fallow fields will be cultivated and can be sown with good seed. And that is the last time of work in my vineyard, the last sowing, which is still to bring rich fruit, but that is why I also still need many willing and loyal servants, because very little time remains for the last harvest work before the end. That is why you are not to tire and not believe that your work is in vain because you now see little success. The tiniest seeds that you scatter can still take root and rise up, because I myself create the necessary atmosphere. Through a very painful intervention, which can still be a blessing for many souls. And where there also the people believe, want to approach calm and peaceful time, it is only appearance, and overnight the silence will change into turmoil and chaos of unimaginable kind. Because I know day and hour, but you do not know them, and only the hint is to be enough for you that no longer much time remains for you, and that is why you have to make good use of the short time. No man needs to be unprepared, because every man will receive warnings and admonitions, but only few accept them as believable and arrange their life according to them, that they also suddenly can be called away from this earth. A time of trouble will be over the earth which certainly could shake the thinking of everyone, but will still leave many hearts of men untouched, which will be completely under the control of my opponent, and that is why they will do everything to reduce their own state of emergency, and again do this at the expense of fellow men, because my opponent drives them to increased lack of love. And exactly then you, my servants on earth, come forward and give my opponent counteract by you always only pointing out to men that they themselves will be helped to the same extent as they are willing to help, and that everyone is to stand by his neighbor when the great trouble is alleviated and my visible help is given to all, is supposed to be. You shall also give them my intervention reasons, And you will also to be understood because I myself address men through you, and everyone who is not completely in the hands of my opponent will also recognize my voice and feels touched by it. Much work still lies ahead of you, but you will be able to carry it out with my help and my blessing as soon as you are only prepared to serve me and to help your fellow men as long as a possibility of rescue still exists. Amen.